Cooking with Wild Game is an Isekai light novel series that's a little different than your usual Isekai fare. No cheat abilities, no familiar JRPG world, not even any magic. Instead, our main character is a high schooler who isn't sure he wants to follow in his father's footsteps and become a chef. However, fate has a different plan for our young man. Asuda Sarumi is a 17-year-old who works part-time in his family's eatery. His father has been harassed recently by his new neighbors, who want to turn his restaurant into parking for a planned amusement complex. After a series of escalating harassments, Asuda's father is hit by a truck and hospitalized with broken legs. While checking on his father, they are informed that the restaurant is on fire. Asuda's father insists he go save his beloved knife, a handcrafted knife he's had for years and his most prized possession. Asuda does as his father requests and races back to the restaurant. He enters the burning building, grabs the sheathed knife, and the building collapses on him. He then wakes up without a single singed hair or soot stain on his white chef's uniform, in a strange jungle, the sheathed chef's knife still in his hand. After escaping a monstrously large boar by falling into a pit trap, Asuda is rescued by the person who dug the trap, the beautiful and scantily clad hunter, Aifa. Realizing he's in a new world, Asuda is forced to find a place in this primitive land. Unlike a lot of other isekai, there's no castle town, no adventurer's guild, no princess with fancy dresses. This isekai is bare bones. The village Asuda finds himself in is made up of huts with dirt floors. The people's clothing is brightly colored, but the villagers wear short sarongs, with the women also covering their breasts with a simple brightly colored wrap. What I'm trying to say is there's no frame of reference for Asuda. Unlike a lot of modern isekai where the main character is able to understand their new world because of the familiarity to video games or other existing isekai tropes, this one is a bit more like Lost World, a modern human being thrown into a savage land with no magic. If I had to summarize Cooking with Wild Game into a single sentence, I'd have to call it a Bronze Age isekai. It's not the only one I've read, but this one is unique in that our main character has only his wits and his father's prize knife. The other Bronze Age isekai I've read is Isekai Kenkokuki, a wonderful isekai about a boy who takes over a group of orphans, founds a village, and eventually becomes king. But that's the subject for another video. The other thing I love about this series is the world building. Because this isn't your standard trope-filled JRPG fare, everything must be figured out from scratch. Asuda needs to find his place in the new village he's in, his standing compared to other people in the tribe, how he needs to address others, what the pecking order is, how they interact and are seen by other peoples, everything. And it's not something that happens overnight. Asuda isn't dumb by any means, but he's not a genius either. It takes him time to figure out his place in the world and for others to recognize his strengths and value. For example, there's a lot of communication issues. Even though Asuda can understand the language of the world he's found himself in, many of the phrases don't make sense. Early on in the series, when he first prepares minced meat patties, despite all the women in the village loving them, the male leader of the hunters describes his meal as poison. Asuda spends a long time trying to figure out exactly what he means by that, but once he does, he's able to solve the problem and further establish himself. If you love overpowered isekai series where the main character is an unstoppable superhuman, look elsewhere. If you're wanting something more down-to-earth with great writing and great characters, something more in line with the sentence of a bookworm, I think you'll really enjoy Cooking with Wild Game. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I'm doing a push and trying to post new videos every weekday for the next few months, so look forward to lots of new videos in the near future. Or you can click here for more fantasy or isekai content. I've also started a Patreon. You can click the link below or go to patreon.com/Danon. Stay safe, and I'll see you all again next time on Musings by Danon.